Hello, my name is Bridget Reisner, and we are on assignment 7, week 7 for diverse populations. And what I have had the opportunity of doing this past week is observing and shadowing a BSW social work case management role at the Lighthouse Behavioral Wellness Center. And this is how I have discovered to do my assignment this week. My population is over mental health. Um, what is mental health? It is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn well and work well, and contribute to their community. Here's a little back history of mental health, and far more than any other type of illnesses, mental disorders are subject to the negative judgments and stigmatization. Many patients not only have to cope with the often devastation effects of their illness, but also suffer from social exclusion and prejudice. Stigmatization of the mentally ill has a long tradition, and the word stigmatization itself indicates the negative connotations. In ancient Greece, a stigma was a brand to mark slaves or criminals. For millennia, society did not treat persons suffering from depression, autism, schizophrenia, and other mental illnesses much better than slaves or criminals. They were imprisoned, tortured, or killed. During the Middle Ages, mental illnesses was regarded as a punishment from God in penitentiaries and madhouses where they were chained to the walls or their beds. During the Enlightenment, the mentally ill were finally freed from their chains and institutions were established to help sufferers of mental illness. However, stigmatization and discrimination reached an unfortunate peak during the Nazi reign in Germany when hundreds of thousands of mentally ill people were murdered or sterilized. So, what is oppression? Oppression refers to a systematic discrimination where the injustice targets or disproportionately impacts special groups of people or specific groups of people. We see this all the time in society, and that has to do with the mental illness. But what are our approaches to minimize those discrimination and stigmatization approaches? During 2017, in the Mental Health Care Act, in Section 18, outlines the right to access mental health care. Every citizen of our country should have access to outpatient services and inpatient services, support for families with mental disorders, and rehabilitation services, services for children and elderly, and easy access to medications. So medication is so important. Personally, I am a person who deals with mental illness myself. I fight depression and bipolar. So access to medication and healthcare is very important, especially for those who are in a low poverty and just anywhere in the nation. That is amazing. So understanding anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is not a one-size-fits-all circumstance. There's many gray areas. It is not black and white. So when we are, as social workers, working on a micro-level basis, common examples of micro-level work include helping people find housing, health care, and social services. Individuals in family counseling also fall under this category, as do certain kinds of mental health and substance abuse treatments. This is providing counseling services and interventions, offering small group assessment, offering support to individuals, families, and groups, helping individuals, families, and groups cope with emergencies, and connecting them with community resources. Clinician social workers at the meso level could coordinate care for their patients and diagnose mental health illnesses in a hospital setting. Meso practices also can include facilitating substance abuse treatment groups or working with individuals within the criminal justice system. The relationship between macro level mental health systems, indicators, and populations are suicide rates. This is an area of contention in the literature, necessitating an analysis of current cross-national data to document any new trend in the relationship. Macro social workers address social problems that impact large groups and population through research, policy analysis, and advocacy, targeting issues such as addiction, racial discrimination, and criminal justice reform. So looking back on mental health, while in a micro level base, we see a lot of case management. We get referrals, and while they come in, what our approach is wanting to try and, of course, helping the client. But we see a lot of do for me, do for me, do for me. What we want to do is have the client reflect on past instances and try and navigate a way where they can operate and navigate a way of living for themselves and incorporate how they can do things on their own, feel empowered, and just take more initiative and discover their characteristics that they can provide for themselves in the future. So that's a big important part of micro level practice on that aspect. Also, when working in a meso level of practice, let's see here, working on a level of meso practice is going to be facilitating groups like stress management, also incorporating that into people in the criminal justice system, which half of the people in the penitentiary and those type of facilities, they are all under categorized, and I think they need to have more mental illness awareness, because I think, once they're in the criminal justice system, they are discarded and not effectively diagnosed. But that is a meso level of practice. And on a macro level for role play, I believe that, substance abuse has a lot to do with the their correlation. Substance abuse to mental health is very important to take into consideration. But we see a lot of the suicide rates, and just updating national data is important to make sure that everything is being updated and accordingly, so we have the right records to keep up with all of those. But thank you for watching, and that was my take on mental health, and I hope everybody has a great summer. Thank you.